Hello everyone, welcome to today's webinar from me on the chilly south coast in Hastings today. It's just gone 1 o'clock, no, sorry, not 1 o'clock today, 11 o'clock. So we'll wait just a few moments to give everyone a chance to join. Do feel free to drop into the Q&A box and say hi. So I can see lots of people joining us. Thank you for coming along today. We're just giving it a few moments for everybody to join. Hi Tony in Exmouth. Hi Gozia, Hilary, Brian. Morning to you all. Okay, I can see lots more of you have joined now, so I think we'll make a start. So hello everyone, welcome to our webinar, New Year, New Digital You, Unlock Your Online Potential in 2025. I'm Annie Mannion and I'm Digital Marketing Manager at AbilityNet, and I'll be running you through today's session. And just before we start, just to go through a few bits of housekeeping, we have live captions provided by Rachel at MyClearText. So you can turn on the captions using the CC option on the control panel, and additional captions are available at streamtext.net/player?event=AbilityNet. And you can download the slides if you wish and follow along on our website, and that's at abilitynet.org.uk/digital2025. If you have any technical issues or you need to leave early, don't worry, you'll receive an email within the next week sharing the recording, the transcript and the slides. And then depending on how you joined the webinar, I can see a lot of you have found it already, you'll find the Q&A window. So if you want to ask us any questions, do drop those in the Q&A. And finally, at the end, we'll have a feedback survey that you'll be directed to. So please do complete that if you're able. So for those of you who aren't yet familiar with AbilityNet, we're now more than 25 years old, and we're a charity that supports older people and disabled people living with any disability or impairment to use technology to achieve their goals at home, at work and in education. And we do this by providing specialist advice, accessibility testing and training, and free information like our fact sheets and this webinar. So today, discussing key tools for transforming your online use in 2025, we have joining us Hannah Davies. She's an Ability Digital Skills trainer and joined the AbilityNet BT group team earlier this year, delivering digital skills training sessions in Aberdeen, Perth and Dundee regions. So just before Hannah shares her advice, I'm just going to start with a quick poll to find out a bit more about you all here today. So I'm just going to launch the poll now. So can you tell us, how confident are you in using the internet for exploring new activities? Are you very confident, somewhat confident, not very confident, or not confident at all, or not applicable? And again, depending on how you joined the webinar, you may find that you can't access the poll, but please do feel free to respond in the Q&A panel. Give it a few more moments for everybody to answer. Okay, last few moments for anybody who wants to vote. Okay, going to end the poll now, and sharing the results, we can see we have the highest number, 56%, are somewhat confident in using the internet for exploring new activities. 29% are very confident, which is great. 12% are not very confident, and then we've got 1% are not confident at all, and 1% for not applicable. So I'll stop sharing that now. So yeah, thank you for all your responses, and for those of you looking for inspiration and advice, we have some great ideas coming up for apps and sites that could enrich your 2025. So over to you, Hannah.
Thank you, Annie. Yes, Annie said, as Annie said, my name is Hannah Davis, and I come from mostly an educational background, so both primary and college teaching. And I joined AbilityNet in November of 2024, just trying to get that right, that we're now in 2025. And I work as a digital skills trainer in the northeast of Scotland. So that's covering from Aberdeen down to Perth. Next slide, please. So today, as Annie explained, I'm going to show you a range of tools on the internet, and kind of in the time that we've got today, we'll only be able to scratch the surface of some of the fantastic tools that may be unfamiliar to you. So hopefully today you'll find something that piques your interest or something new that you can explore. So the tools I'm going to show you today will allow you to do a range of different things, such as identifying music, watching free documentaries, exploring our planet Earth, reading a range of literature, and seeing how websites have evolved over time. So I'm going to go on to my first tool now. Now, this is called Shazam, something you may or may not have heard of, quite an unusual name, so hopefully quite an easy one to remember. Now, Shazam works by identifying songs and audio clips by matching a recorded sample to its very vast database. So it can identify songs that are playing from your phone, for example. It could be a clip from a TV show or in an advert or other audio content. So if you're out and about, for example, and you hear a song playing in a shopping centre, Shazam could help you to identify that song. So it's a really useful tool for quickly identifying or discovering music that you can hear, but you're not sure of the artist or you're not sure of the name of the song as well. And very usefully, what it also does is it provides you the lyrics of the song. So if you're like me and like to sing along to music, but aren't sure if you're singing the lyrics correctly, Shazam will help you to identify the song and some information about it. So I'm going to show you a quick demonstration of Shazam and how Shazam works just in a second. So I'm going to share my screen just here. So hopefully you can see that Shazam has appeared there. So there is a web version of Shazam, which is the one I'm going to show you today. And there is also a version of it that you can download to your phone by scanning the QR code. Now I'm going to show you a demonstration. I'm not having to sign in or anything like that. I can use Shazam freely just by clicking on a button. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press this little button here. And if you do download the app version from this QR code, it works in the exact same way. You tap when you hear a song that you like the sound of, and it will help to identify it for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a song just from my phone. What I will say, depending on the device that you're using, I'm using a laptop computer. And because I've used Shazam before, my microphone is enabled. You might need to go into the settings of your device, search for microphone and make sure that's enabled, or you might get a prompt in the sort of top right-hand corner of your screen. Again, depending on whatever device it is that you're using. So just to show you how this works, I'm going to press on the little Shazam logo here, and I'm going to play a song from my phone, which is in reasonable proximity of the laptop, so it can pick up the sound as well. So I'll just press this here. So you see how quickly that worked there to identify the song. Now, my phone was in reasonable proximity to the laptop, but it doesn't have to be right next to it. So if you were downloading the app version and using that when you're out and about, as long as the song is reasonably clear, it should pick it up for you. So it has correctly identified the song, and it's very kind of clever algorithms that Shazam uses. It's identified the song as Higher by Tom Grennan, which is correct. So when you're on Shazam, there's a range of information you can find out about the artist and any other information about them. So sometimes it might come up with the ability to watch the music video on YouTube. You can see the lyrics down the right-hand side there, as I mentioned before. And it'll depend on the artist and the song, but sometimes you might get other suggested songs by that artist down here. So if you want to kind of collate a range of their songs or possibly listen to more of their music, it's a great way to kind of see that. similar songs, so by artists that Shazam deems to be quite similar to that artist. And sometimes what you will find down here as well is any upcoming concerts. So if there's an artist you think you might like to go and see in person, it will come up with concerts here. Some of them might be close to you, some of them might be further afield, but it lets you see if there's any kind of concerts you might like to go and see. So that is a little whistle-stop tour of how Shazam works. And you can also, if you go back, you can download the app version here, and that works in a very similar way. So that's a whistle-stop tour of Shazam. So I'm going to go on to my next tool now. I'm just going to stop sharing. Perfect. So YouTube documentaries. Now, YouTube possibly more well known for having short video clips and kind of video clips that last possibly a few seconds or a couple of minutes at the most. But YouTube documentaries is actually a website within itself that has a huge range of documentaries that you can watch completely for free. And they're on a range of diverse topics. So you will usually find something that piques your interest. Now, the great thing about YouTube documentaries is that there's no monthly fee or subscription. So like streaming services such as Netflix, for example, not trying to put down Netflix because it's a great site, it's something that I use. But if you're wanting to watch documentaries for free and without signing up to anything or committing to anything, YouTube documentaries is a great way to view these. They're created by filmmakers or educational channels for free viewing. And as I'll show you just in a moment, they vary widely in timescales. So you could watch quite a short documentary to one that's over 2, and I've even come across some that are over 3 hours. So it really kind of depends how much time you want to dedicate to watching a documentary on a certain topic. Now, you don't need to have an account on YouTube. And when I go onto this in a moment, it has automatically signed me in. But you can watch YouTube documentaries without signing up to an account. The only benefit to signing up freely to YouTube documentaries is that it will allow you to save documentaries to watch at a later date. So if you do come across something that piques your interest, but you don't have time to watch it there and then, if you do have an account, you can save it to watch later and return to it when you've got a little bit more time. So I'm just going to show you now briefly how YouTube documentaries works. So to find YouTube documentaries, all I did was type YouTube documentaries into Google, and it's usually one of the first results that comes up, and it's entitled Free Documentary. So the page, when you go onto it, will look a little bit like this. So I'm just going to show you some of the things that YouTube documentaries has for you to view and a little bit about how to navigate it. So if you're not sure what you're looking for, you want to watch a documentary or you just want to see what it's got to offer, one way that you can do it is simply by scrolling down and it will put it into categories for you. So as you can see there, best new documentaries, ones that have been added roughly within the past 2 weeks. If you've got an account or you've accepted cookies, possibly, it will maybe identify documentaries that it thinks will be of interest to you based on what you've watched before. As you can see there, there's ones about the environment, ones about different parts of the world, and I quite like a true crime documentary, so this section would be of interest to me. And you can simply keep browsing to see what it's got available there. As you can see, it's got a huge amount of things available. What will happen usually on YouTube documentaries, just so you don't get a fright when you load it, is it will usually have a video here that will play automatically about a documentary that it thinks might be of interest to you. So don't be alarmed if sound kind of suddenly comes out of your device. You can simply just pause it and continue browsing as normal. If you want to search for a specific documentary on a specific topic, there's this search bar here that you can see. So in here, what I'm going to type in is dangerous roads. Because that's something that's of interest to me, kind of dangerous roads around the world. And you can see here, it has come up with some suggestions of what it thinks you might enjoy watching. So this is a series here of deadliest roads. And you can see here, there's 51 videos in that series. So that'd be quite a lot for you to work your way through. A different series here, this one here, which has got 26 videos. You've got ones that are just kind of by themselves. That you can watch there. So this one's 51 minutes, for example, and loads of different documentaries on that particular topic. Now, what I mentioned before about saving a documentary to watch later, if you do have an account, what you can do is next to the documentary is clicking on these three dots here, and you can save it to watch later or create a playlist and save it to that playlist there. So it means you'll be able to come back to it if you come across something that's of interest to you, but you don't have time to watch it there and then. And the last thing to show you on this one, I mentioned the different kind of time scales. Oh, sorry, I've just come off it there. And the different time scales of these documentaries and how much they range. So this one you can see is 52 minutes, but even kind of just scrolling through here, you can see that this one is ranging from 50 minutes. This one is over 2.5 hours. So you should find something, hopefully, that's of interest to you on YouTube documentaries. So again, really great way to have a look at documentaries without signing up to anything or being committed to paying a monthly fee. So I'm going to go on to my next one. So Google Earth. Google, I'm sure you've heard of, you've probably used in some capacity, whether it's the search engine, whether it's searching for images and so on. But Google Earth is a really fascinating way of exploring some of our planet Earth. And the imagery, as you'll see, is just spectacular. It shows you satellite pictures to show you the Earth's surface, and we'll have a go at looking at that just in a few moments. So you can tilt, rotate, and zoom in to see different landmarks, different countries, different oceans, and so on. And you can also use it to search and navigate to find certain places. So this could be places that you've been to before or places that you're just interested in seeing. There is Street View as well, and this is a fantastic tool that allows you to almost put yourself into a certain place and you can walk around the streets and famous places. So it's a great way to take a trip down memory lane to see possibly how a place has changed, or possibly it's somewhere that you would maybe like to visit in the future, or it's possibly a place that you know family and friends live and you want to have a little walk around yourself and just see what it's like to live there. And as a side note, you can create projects to save certain landmarks or cities that you can come back to and look at later. So I'm just going to show you now a little bit how Google Earth works and some of its key features. So Google Earth, when you search for Google Earth, this is the page that you'll be presented with. So the easiest way to start kind of navigating around the planet Earth is just to click Explore Earth in this top right-hand corner here. So as you can see, it has loaded it up as a satellite image from space. Now, depending on what device you're using, you can zoom in, you can zoom out quite far, and you can zoom right into places, which I'll just show you in a moment. And also just by clicking and dragging, you can click and drag around the planet Earth. So it tilts in all different directions, as you can see there. So I'm just going to move it around like this. So what you can do, I'm going to find a country and I'm going to zoom right in just so you can see how far you can zoom in. So I'm hovering over America here at the moment. I'm going to zoom right in here. So depending on your internet connection, there may be a slight delay, as you can see what's happening with mine there. So just give it a second and it will continue to load and it will let you zoom right in. So it might just take a moment. As you can see, I'm not zooming on a particular populated area here. I'm obviously zooming into an area of kind of quite country. But you can see there, you can zoom right into properties and zoom right out again there. Now I'm going to search for somewhere that I've been to in the past, just so I can have a little look at it and take a wee trip down memory lane. So in this top left-hand corner here, you can search for a place. So I'm going to search for Paris, for example. And what it will do is it'll literally zoom you around and it will take you right there. So it's zoomed right into the area of Paris and it's just loading that up there. Again, what I can do is I can use the zoom feature on whatever device that is that I'm using, and I can zoom right in and I can kind of see quite how populated this area is with kind of buildings and so on. I can zoom right in and I can zoom right out. So I'm going to show you Street View and how Street View works. And again, it's a very clever little tool that kind of lets you transport yourself into a certain place. So I'm going to click on this little person down here and that will take you into Street View. So I'm going to click on Street View here. And what it will do is it will highlight the streets in blue where you could go and have a little explore. So to get into Street View, I'm simply going to drag the little person and just drop it. And what it will hopefully do now is, I don't know where it's quite taken me there. I'm going to go and try a different place over here. So I'm hoping it will do is it will let me go into a street. There we go. And so now I'm in the streets of Paris. So if this is a place that you've been before, it might be somewhere that you recognize, or it might be somewhere completely new to you. And you can move the screen around and have a look at your surroundings. These little arrows here indicate that you can move yourself forward or back simply by clicking. And normally what it will do is it will let me move forward. As you can see there, I'm just clicking in front of me, and it's almost as if I'm walking through the streets of Paris, which is really interesting. And it'll tell you up here where exactly you are as you're moving around. So if you get completely lost, the great thing is you haven't spent money on the plane ticket. So if you're walking around and think it's not somewhere that particularly appeals to you, you haven't wasted money traveling there. I'm going to come out of this just by clicking the back arrow, and I'm going to search for somewhere else. I'm going to search for Venice. And again, it will zoom me around into Paris. Not to Paris, into Venice, my apologies. So something else that you can do in Google Earth is if you want to collate a series of places that, for whatever reason, places you've been before, or places you might like to visit in the future, or places that are just of interest to you, you can create a little project. So you'll see here as I've gone into Venice, I can save to project. It'll just prompt you a couple of times. And in this title up here, this is where you can name your project. So if it's places you visited, I might entitle that places I visited, and I'll just save it to project there. And as you can see, it'll save Venice in that project for me. I can search for somewhere else. I'm just going to come out of that one. I'm going to search for Rome, for example. And again, it will move me around to where Rome is. And I'm also going to save that to that same project, so I can come back to it at a later date. And that is a little whistle-stop tour of how Google Earth works. So fantastic imagery, street view, and just a great way to explore different places. So I'm going to move on now to my next tool. So Project Gutenberg, this is a great website if you like to read classic literature. And I'm going to show you some of the books that it does have available. You can read these completely for free, as there are over 75,000 free ebooks for your reading pleasure. And it primarily consists of classic literature. So it's not a place to go if you're looking for new releases and more modern authors, but it is a good place to go if you're looking for kind of classical authors and classical texts. The easiest way to read texts from Project Gutenberg is instantly on the online web version. And there's a way that you can, once you found a text you would like to read, to switch to reading it on another device. So I'm just going to show you a little bit how Project Gutenberg works and how you would navigate this. Again, just searching for Project Gutenberg. And this is the page that you'll be presented with upon visiting Project Gutenberg. And as it says there, it's got over 75,000 free ebooks. So depending on if you're looking for something specific or you're just looking for a browse, there's different ways you can navigate this. So these are ones here that have uploaded relatively recently. But probably the easiest way to navigate Project Gutenberg is by searching for the text that you're looking for in particular. So a classical text that I might like to read is Little Women, for example, and I would simply search for that one. And how it will come up is it will sort it based on popularity. Now, this is probably the easiest way to find the text that you're looking for, because that's the text that has been read or downloaded mostly by people. So probably the ones on the left-hand side are the ones that are going to be most relevant for you. And as you can see there, Little Women has come up by Louisa May Alcott, and all I need to do is click on that text. And the easiest way to read it is by Read Online, the Read Online web version. And what it will do is it will load up the text for you here. So if you're wanting to start from the beginning, you can simply kind of scroll through, read the text as you would, and you can zoom in or zoom out depending on what device it is that you're using. You might be wanting to find a specific chapter rather than reading the whole text. And this little menu here will allow you to click on the one that you're looking for, and that would take me straight to chapter 4, for example. If I click back here, I'm going to click back to the page here. So this QR code here is really useful. So say I'm reading this on my laptop at the moment, but I want to now go and read it on my phone. I can simply scan that QR code and it will load up this page here. And again, I can click on Read Online. Another text that I found on here, another classical text is Pride and Prejudice. So again, it just works in the same way. You can search for it. You'll soon quickly realize if it doesn't have it, because your search results will kind of give you a variety of texts that aren't relevant. But you can sort it alphabetically by title, sort by release date, and again, works in the same way. Go into Pride and Prejudice and I can read the online version there. It's a great way to read some classical literature. If there's a text that you particularly want to read, it's possibly one that you don't have access to, or you don't have access to it at the library, for example. So that's a little bit about how Project Gutenberg works. Wayback Machine, a great tool for if you like to kind of see how things have evolved throughout time. So the Wayback Machine is essentially a digital archive that allows you to access and view versions of websites from different points in time. So you can see how it's changed and evolved. You can see when websites have ceased to run as well, such as the example on the next page that I'm going to show you. So this is a website called Friends Reunited. So this is a website that you may or may not be familiar with. And I remember it quite well because it's a website that I set my mum up on quite a while ago now, because she was looking to get in contact with some friends that she'd been to school with in England. So you can see there in 2000, when the website was kind of first created, quite kind of juvenile looking, quite bright colors, cartoon imagery, not particularly sophisticated, but absolutely served its purpose. And then you see in 2010 that it's kind of modernized. You've got some photographic imagery there, and the sign-in button is much clearer and it's much easier to navigate. And then 2016, if you can read that there, that's when the website actually stopped running, probably for a variety of reasons, probably creation of other websites that did similar things, or kind of Facebook communities that allow people to connect in a more simple way. So I'm just going to show you very quickly how Wayback Machine works, just so you can get an idea of how to navigate it. So searching for Wayback Machine here. So what you need to do is just in this URL box here is type in the website that you're looking for. So it's friendsreunited.co.uk, and you could do this with any website that you were interested in. And what it will do here is you can see this little timeline, and this shows when people have kind of created snapshots of that particular website. So I can kind of scroll back here. I can click on a certain date. And then these little snapshots here, you can click on those and they indicate that somebody has kind of saved a snapshot of that website, and you can go in and have a look and see how it looks at that particular point in time. So it's almost like a little time machine that takes you back in time as well. And again, you can click on a diff here. If it comes up green, that indicates that there's been quite a few snapshots from that particular time. But any of the blue or green dots indicate that that's a date you can go back and have a look at that particular website. So that's a little bit how Wayback Machine works as well. So I've shown you a range of tools today, hopefully that have piqued your interest or found something that you would like to explore in a bit more detail. So identifying music from adverts and so on, watching documentaries, exploring the world and reading a range of literature, as well as seeing how websites have evolved over time. If this is something that you found useful, certainly we could do sessions on different websites or apps that you might find useful. And please feel free to use the Q&A box for any further suggestions of websites that you've heard of, or possibly something you would like to explore in a bit more detail. Now, just before I kind of finish off, I've got one more website that I want to show you, and it's a website that one of my friends introduced me to, and this is a crossword website called Boatload Puzzles. So it's an online platform. Again, you do not need to create an account or anything like that. You just search for Boatload Puzzles. And it's a great way to improve your vocabulary, memory, cognitive skills. It's been very useful for me. So if you're somebody that likes to do crosswords, this could be a good website for you. There's a new puzzle added every day. I will show you boatload puzzles just in a second, just so you can see how it loads up. And there's over 40,000 puzzles, so you will not find that you're bored or repeating the same clues over and over again. And you can use them on any device, so a tablet, phone, laptop, or desktop computer. So if you're somebody that likes to do crosswords but possibly don't have access to a newspaper or a magazine to do them, this could be a good way to have a go at doing a daily crossword. So I'll just show you boatload puzzles. As I said, it's a very kind of simplistic website when it loads up. You don't have to navigate through pages and pages. So when you search for boatload puzzles, it will look like this. It is Americanized, that's one thing I will say. So some of the clues might be quite Americanized or kind of have American terminology, but for the most part, the clues should be relatively straightforward. So how it works is I'm on the laptop version here. I would simply click on my clue. You can do it in any order that you like. I've just shown you an example here, a carbonated drink, one across. So all I would do is just make sure that is highlighted, and I would type in on my keyboard. If the letter is correct, it'll come up in black lettering, as it has done there. If it's incorrect, it will come up in red. You can solve letters. If you get stuck, you can solve a letter, you can solve a word, you can solve the puzzle if you get fed up of that particular puzzle, and you can simply click through and it will search for the next puzzle for you. So again, as I said, a great way to improve your vocabulary, memory, and cognitive skills. And to be honest, it's just a bit of fun. It's a good way to pass some time, and it's something that I've certainly enjoyed in some of my spare time as well. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Hannah. Some great starting points for where to find inspiration online this year. So I hope you've all found something new to try out. And we did mention we were going to cover the reverse image search. I don't know if that's something we're able to look into in the next Q&A section, Hannah. Is that something that we'll be able to?
That's fine. Yeah, I can
Okay.
certainly do. I can certainly do a quick demonstration of that if that would be useful.
Okay, yeah, that would be great. So a couple of people have mentioned it. So yeah, if we'll just move on to the next slides in the meantime. So just before I share some resources with you, just a reminder, you can access the slides via our webinar page, which is abilitynet.org.uk/digital 2025, and the recording of this session will be added to the page after this broadcast. So just to let you know, as part of AbilityNet's partnership with BT Group to help older people and disabled adults master the digital world, we offer free in-person digital skills sessions available to older people and disabled adults in London, Birmingham, Glasgow, Edinburgh, the East Coast of Scotland, Newcastle, Cardiff and surrounding areas. And you can find out more and register at abilitynet.org.uk/BT Digital Skills. And if you don't live in those areas outlined, please do give us a call on 0300 180 0028, and one of the AbilityNet team can help connect you with a local tech volunteer. And then you can also ask for training on topics including staying safer online and using social media, booking a GP appointment, and some of the topics that Hannah's covers today. So please do get in touch. And then we also have a range of bite-sized learning videos on our YouTube channel. So we'll share the YouTube playlist with you in the page that you'll be sent to afterwards. And the topics that are covered at the moment, with new ones being added all the time. So there's looking at Ringo app, using QR codes, video calling, an introduction to AI, staying safer online, and a few more topics as well. So do check those out. So I'm aware you've all got a lot of questions that come through that you might like to ask Hannah. So do fire away in the Q&A window and we'll answer as many as we can. So yeah, a few questions that came through originally on the first topic, Hannah, were about Shazam. Is there a charge for using it, or is it funded using adverts? And there's a few similar questions along those lines.
As far as I'm aware, it's completely free. That version that I just showed you there, I didn't have to sign up to anything or pay a cost. And I believe the app version is the same. I certainly didn't pay anything to demonstrate it there, and it worked with all the features as I showed you.
Okay, and do you know how well it works with screen readers? Adrian asks.
Unfortunately, that's not something that I know of, but it's certainly something I can go away and check. It's not something I've had the opportunity to try it with, but yeah, unfortunately, I'm not too
Okay.
sure on the answer to that one.
Okay, yeah, Adrian, we'll have a look into it, and we'll answer that to you separately. But thank you for the question. And then there's a question from Davika, who says, "What's the difference in downloading a YouTube documentary or click to save to watch later?"
I believe that downloading would download it to your device. So I'm using a laptop computer. So if I downloaded it, I believe it would then save it as a file somewhere on my device. Whereas I think save to playlist, you wouldn't have to download anything and using kind of memory from your device. It would kind of simply just save it somewhere on the web page. And you could just click on. So obviously downloading something will kind of will kind of take up more space on your device. So I would probably just be inclined to save it to watch later.
Okay, thank you. And this is a question from Jilly. I think it was on Project Gutenberg, and I think I did spot that the Kindle was mentioned, but can it be used on Kindle?
I
Project Gutenberg.
believe it can, but it's not something that I've downloaded to see if it does work. But it does give you that option that you can download it on the Kindle. So I guess it would just kind of depend on if you've got a compatible device to try downloading it on. I've only ever used the web version,
Okay.
but there's no reason to suggest that the Kindle download wouldn't work.
Okay, thank you. And then there's a question, what's the difference between Google Earth and Google Maps?
Um, Google Maps, I believe, just kind of shows you I don't believe on Google Maps you can kind of zoom right out on the world. I could be incorrect. I think it just in terms of the imagery that's used, I think Google Earth is kind of has more features. I don't think on Google Earth you can navigate from place to place, to my knowledge. Like for example, on Google Maps, you can put in two destinations and it will tell you how to get from point A to point B. So I would use kind of Google Maps for kind of day-to-day navigation, Google Earth more for kind of exploring more places and kind of further afield.
Okay, the holiday inspiration, perhaps.
Yes, definitely holiday inspiration is a great way to do that.
Okay, great. I think, oh, there's a few more questions that come through. Um, yeah, this is a good point from Geraldine. Are YouTube documentaries fact checked, and can the content be trusted? Yeah.
Good question. To my knowledge, they are created by kind of film documentary creators. But I guess with kind of all documentaries, it's kind of up, I guess there's an element of kind of up to you to decide kind of how much of it you kind of believe and want to fact check yourself. But to my knowledge, they are reliable documentaries because it is a website that is, because obviously YouTube is very well known. I believe that the majority would be fact checked and would be, kind of accurate to watch, to my knowledge. But obviously, that would be maybe up to you to decide once you've watched something if you're going to want to go and fact check some of it yourself.
Okay, thank you. And if we do have a couple of moments to look at the reverse image tool, that would be
Yes,
great.
no problem. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah. So I'll share my screen here. Um, so yeah, to get onto reverse image search, it's using the same search, a Google search engine that you'll probably be familiar with. It's not a different website. And all you're doing is simply uploading an image. And what it will do is it will then search the World Wide Web, the very vast World Wide Web, and it will try and find imagery that matches it, or possibly if it's an item of clothing, which is the example that I'm going to show you. Say you've taken a picture of your friend's shoes. You said, I really like those. What are they? Where did you get them from? But they can't remember. This could be a good way of doing that. So what you would do is in the Google search engine, just clicking on this search by image, and it will take you to a slightly different screen here. And you can drag an image into this box, or you can upload a file, both in the same way. So I'm going to click on upload a file, and I'm hoping I've got a image here. Yeah, so I'm imagining that my friend is wearing a pair of shoes that I really like. I'm quite interested in getting a pair myself, but I don't know where they come from. So what I did there is as I searched for the image, you can see here that it has identified both the type of shoes that it is and places that I could buy them. So you can see here, I can click on this one It's Adidas Samba shoes, and this is a place that I could buy them. So again, it's just a different way of finding sort of maybe possibly the origin of an image, similar images, or if it's a certain product, it would hopefully help you to identify that product and where you might be able to buy it. And that's simply how it works. And that's Google reverse image search there.
Fantastic, very useful. Thanks very much. So there's just one question, a kind of general question about the digital skills training that we have that's come through from Mandy. This is to let everybody know. So we have the BT sessions that are available in certain areas, but if you do have any disability or impairments that you'd like to contact us about, and we can try to help your answer your questions and connect you with an AbilityNet tech volunteer in your area. So yes, Mandy, please do get in touch, and we'll try to help as much as we can. So yeah, thank you everybody for all your questions. So just to wrap up now, thank you so much, Hannah and Rachel with My Clear Text, and to my colleague Kelly for helping out in the background. And just a bit more information that might be of interest. So as mentioned, AbilityNet offers free IT support at home and online. And this is with free tech related fact sheets, webinars, and you can call our helpline on 0300 180 0028. And if you look for free tech support at /at-home. And if you'd like to become an AbilityNet volunteer, please do get in touch at /volunteer. And then we also run online training sessions on digital accessibility and inclusion for groups in-house and also individuals. So you can find out more about that at /training. And if you use the code AbilityNet webinar 10 when booking, you can save 10%. And we also have a special 20% off bundle during January. So finally, you can also sign up to our newsletter for the latest advice about inclusion and our next free webinars, which you can access at /webinars. And our next free online session is on Wednesday, the 26th of February. And that's about tips to make your smartphone easier to use. So you can access that at /smartphone tips and sign up there. So thank you again to everyone who's joined us. Please do complete the feedback form that you'll be directed to, and we'll be in touch soon. Bye everyone. Hope to see you in February.